Welcome, I'm back with the first of 4 videos discussing the wild card games individually. So enjoy the games, I know I will. And the very first game, we have a matchup, the number 5 seed Buffalo Bills wild card team, the true wild card team because they didn't win the division. They will be traveling to the Houston, Texas, number 4 seed, who won the AFC South. This is the 4th out of the 5 years they've won the AFC South, but they only got 1 playoff win to show for it so far. But let's take a closer look at these two teams and see where we're at. They both finished 10 wins and 6 losses. Buffalo's claim to fame is that they played New England twice and actually had a chance to win the one game, but Josh Allen missed on 4th and 10 or 4th and goal. Josh Allen, out of all the quarterbacks, there's 12 quarterbacks in the postseason now, 6 teams from the AFC, 6 teams from the NFC. Josh Allen is the worst quarterback when it comes to forcing the ball. Okay, he's got to stop. For Buffalo to win, he can't be forcing these balls into these non-existent windows that he thinks that are closing too fast for him. He's a very good quarterback. He's going to be great, but this is his very first playoff game, and I always try to go against players against quarterbacks in their first playoff game. Now, Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, let's talk about the Texans for a second. He's got some experience in playoffs. I think Deshaun Watson is still the better quarterback, definitely with his feet. And he actually checks down better with the receivers. Josh Allen might have a little edge with accuracy, believe it or not, even though he zings that ball the way he does. But Josh Allen was trained, you throw everything hard to prevent interceptions. The only downfall of that is that your own team can't catch the ball either. So teams are willing to live with that as long as they prevent interceptions. Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans is a different breed of cat. He's very, very capable of one-handing the back on his team. And I'll catch flack from people when I say this, and people think I'm full of it, but I'm not. A one-man teams don't make. You can win 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games in the regular season with them when you get in the playoffs, a la John Elway with the 13-3 Broncos get slonkered out in the first round by Jacksonville, 30-27. John Elway made the Super Bowl, and he lost his first few Super Bowls. One-man teams don't make the team. You got to have the people around you as well. Deshaun Watson is kind of like the one-man wrecking crew on that offense. In a similar fashion, maybe you can say Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, and kind of a similar pattern to a degree. Patrick Mahomes of Kansas City. I just think that they are going to get Fuller back, which is a big help if he can stay healthy, but they might be using him as a decoy. I still think that Houston's missing a couple pieces, but they are getting J.J. Watt back on the defense. How effective is he going to be? If he make a couple of good run stops, he's worth bringing back and starting in this game. If he gets a sack, it's a bonus because he wasn't supposed to be when he got hurt early in the season. He was supposed to be out for the year. Well, now he's being brought back. J.J. Watt's a beast. I'm a big J.J. Watt fan, and I love defense. I'm one of these I'm an old school guy. I love a 6-3 triple overtime slugfest. People don't understand that there's a game within games, and it's a game of first downs, a game of inches, a game of play calling. It's the ultimate chess match, but you got 11 chess pieces at once moving against the other 11 chess pieces, and you got special teams. They don't have special teams in basketball. They don't have special teams in soccer. They don't have special teams in baseball. They don't have special teams in hockey. Football has special teams. Football is the ultimate team sport, and I keep saying it and I keep rambling, but let me get back to the point here before I go. I hope I don't have to cut that part. You have to understand the game of football to get a grasp on these games. I know I've started talking about Buffalo, and I went up on Houston, I went up at the NFL, and now let's go back to Buffalo. They got a pretty good running back in the Singletary guy. And Buffalo's played well at times, but at times they have not. Sometimes they have a hard time making third downs. They're very low on third down conversions. On the obverse side, Houston's not really that good on stopping teams on third down on their defense, but they're getting J.J. Watt back. That might be the difference maker. Coaching, let's talk about coaching for a second. No, let's scratch that. The health of the team, even though they're getting Fuller back, J.J. Watt's probable. Deshaun Watson was on the injury list, and if I can get it up here, we'll do a sleeve of the injury list. And you can see Houston's injury list is a mile long. So Buffalo's the actual slightly better team, but that's kind of that gap is narrowed on defense. Offense are probably both as equally banged up. But I don't like the fact that Deshaun Watson was on the injury list. But every time I see Tom Brady on the injury list, I learned the hard way. Double your money on the unit bets when Tom Brady's on the injury list. That means that they're going to come out smoking And I don't think I ever lost a bet when Tom Brady's on the injury list. And I mean it. I mean like 20 bets in a row, going over a few years. So long story short, I think even though Buffalo's a little healthier, they got to travel. And Buffalo did win 6 games on the road. They're a decent road team. And Houston's it's kind of shaky at home. But you know what? I just think that the experience on the players' side overwhelmingly goes to Houston. Let's talk about the coaching. Sean McDermott's a very good coach for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, he's done very well. I have seen him make some questionable things, at least on one occasion, when he should have went for it on 4th and 4. He punched the ball at the other team and he never got the ball back. Well, in my mind, you get out coached. You can see it with Sean Payton or Bill Belichick. They probably go for it. They the ball towards midfield. You need one score to win the game. And you punt the ball with 7 minutes to go. You don't get it back. That means you got out coached. In my mind, as far as head coach, I know how the head coach works. He divvies up the departments to his assistant coaches. I get all that. But you got the final say. You can get on that radio headset and say, "Hey, look, I'm going for it. Send in a screenplay or whatever play you're going to call." And so I've seen Sean McDermott get really ultra conservative, and in the playoffs that's not good. Okay, Bill O'Brien, on the other hand, he's a Bill Belichick disciple. Bill Belichick teaches he doesn't hold anything back when he wants his assistants to learn about his team and how to play the game of football. So when you work for Bill Belichick, you can't get a better teacher, in my opinion. So a lot of the coaches are just as good as Belichick in a lot of ways, but to work for Bill Belichick is special. Now, but Bill O'Brien is the only one that's had any limited success since leaving Bill Belichick. And they all either want, like Josh McDaniels, he's left. He went to Denver for a while. He came back. They're talking about trying to get him for another team and talk to him when the playoffs are over. But I think Josh McDaniels might have learned the hard way. Hey, I got the sure thing. I got close to the sure thing in with Bill Belichick in New England, and he stayed the last few years. But a lot of the assistants, like Matt Patricia, he's got Detroit. The ownership said he'd come back next year, but if he has a bad year next year, he's gone. The guy for Charlie Weiss, if he just has one defensive, if he blitzes the guy from USC, Matt Leinart, on that 4th and 9 when they're playing that game at Notre Dame, they become number 1, 130 points scored in that game, but he doesn't do it. He got conservative at the wrong time, and then he faded after that. Now he was assistant under the guy for Kansas City for a while. Him and that Romeo Cornell, they were both assistant coaches for the guy from Kansas City. Haley for Kansas City screamed at the players on the sideline. That's why the Cardinals got rid of him. He couldn't control the players. The players were going to kill him. But anyway, I'm digressing here. But I'm going to leave most of this in because these are important things you got to understand about a football game and understand the coaching. How they operate the way they operate. You have to understand that. And I think Sean McDermott's a very good coach. Believe me, I'm not knocking him in any way. He's just a little, for a wild card, you can't be conservative. Okay, if it's late in the game and you're on your own 48-yard line, you got 52 yards to go, and you're down 27-23, and it's 4th and 4, and you've been somewhat doing okay with the passing game, you got to go for it. You're not going to pump the ball with 5 minutes left and have Deshaun Watson run the ball out, run the clock out. Are you? Anyway, but Bill O'Brien has got the experience, and they beat New England this year. But now, the onside kick, if the guy hangs on to it, Bill O'Brien's just probably hanging himself. Because New England was way down in that game and they came back. That guy hangs on that onside kick, and Tom Brady was he was in his zone in that 4th quarter when they were coming back against the Houston Texans. I'm sure that caused Bill O'Brien a couple sleepless nights. Bill O'Brien, he knows what it takes. He knows he's got to start showing some progress when making the postseason. He doesn't want to be a one and done like the Indianapolis Colts under Tony Dungy for 10 years before he finally started advancing. Because every year they were going to fire Tony Dungy unless they started advancing. Well, they started advancing and they won the Super Bowl when they beat the Bears 2006. But most of the time, the Indianapolis Colts with the mighty Peyton Manning, they were one and done. Bill O'Brien understands that. He's going to have a game plan, and in my opinion, I don't think Buffalo matches up that well with this team. I think Houston still got some team speed that Buffalo has a hard time matching. They played well against New England because New England doesn't have that much team speed right now. For any of you boxing fans out there, boxing. Well, Muhammad Ali, he struggled with Ken Norton. Okay, and it could be argued that Ken Norton actually won all 3 of the fights they had. He won the first one with a split decision. He lost a rematch, which I still feel to this day that Ken Norton won that fight. They gave a split decision. They gave it to Ali by the razor thin margins. They should have called it a draw to set up that big Yankee Stadium fight they had. And I watched that one probably 10 times in my life, and I still say Norton won that last fight by 1 round. But they match up well, you see, because Ali wasn't that big knockout puncher with 1 punch, and he stuck the move. He stuck the move on, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And Norton was just a wild overhand right, and he did the unorthodox Archie Moore type defense. But the bad thing about that was that when you're blocking his punches, you can't throw any. So, but every time Ken Norton went up against George Foreman, he got knocked out in the second. Ernie Shavers got him in the first round. George Cooney, that big white guy from New York State, got him in the first or second round. I mean, Norton did not match up well with big punchers. So I'm saying Bill Bryan's got to be a big puncher here if he wants to knock out Buffalo, okay? Because Buffalo is like Ken Norton. They're doing this. They don't have that big punch to knock out the Texans. I just think that Houston's going to win this game. They're home. They're the better seed. I got some flack from saying this statement when we were talking about it for an hour ago. I still say that Buffalo actually faced better competition because AFC East is vastly improved. See, the mindset is, oh, that's the worst division in football, and New England always was getting. You could just write them the check. You just give them before the season start. Give them the AFC East because they've won it all these years in a row with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Out of 20 years Brady's been with the team, they've won 18 out of 20. AFC East titles. I think Miami got him one time. I can't remember who the other one was. It wasn't Buffalo. I think Miami's got him twice in the last 20 years to win the AFC East. When Bill Parcells was general manager for 1 year, and New England finished 11-5. It didn't make the playoffs when the year Brady got hurt, and Matt Castle won 11 games for them. Long story short, the AFC was always known for the Jets being just end the season, Jets being in the basement, or they will fight for the basement. But Miami was actually putting them, 7-9, 8-8, 9-7 teams, made a wild card here and there. Miami was actually the second ladder of the AFC East. But this year they weren't until they beat New England that last game. Miami was just atrocious the first half of the season. But the thing is, the last half of the season, they've actually played very good ball, and they showed the world what they can do when they beat New England that last game. There was a guy called the president on the WagerTalk.com. I listened to his podcast. He did predict Miami on the money line before the game was played. He's the only person, I've talked to a lot of people about football during football season. My email box is full, and I got to delete every day. And he is the only one that had a live ticket. And yes, he did. He did call it before the game was even played. Because I check these guys. I want to see their credibility. The AFC East, in my opinion, is better than the NFC South, where Houston won. So all the Colts and all the Titans, all this, I don't care. I still think the AFC East is significantly better than the AFC South that Houston won. So, Jacksonville's a dumpster fire. Jacksonville will be last place if you put them in the AFC East. So, I know I'm saying all this, and I know Buffalo is a tough out. These teams that make the playoff, they're all tough outs, okay? But I'm taking the Houston Texans, and I got my score up here. I got the Houston Texans 24, Buffalo 13. I could try to get cute here and say, well, give us a halftime score. Well, okay, I'll give you a halftime score. I'm going to say 7-6 Buffalo halftime. Buffalo will have a halftime lead by 1 point. But the final score, they're going to figure it out. It's going to be, they're going to limit Buffalo to the field goal in the second half, and I think Houston's going to get them in the second half. They're going to grind them down. Deshaun Watson's going to make the better adjustments. I don't think Josh Allen makes that good adjustments. I'm not knocking the team. I'm giving my personal evaluation, and I'm taking Houston Texans. I want to say this while I got the video up here while I'm thinking about it. The wild card teams do favor underdogs, and the road teams do very well. There was 1 year all 4 road teams won, and the following year 3 of the 4 road teams won. I think the last couple years has been 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. But the road teams do very well in the wild card weekend. I'm not so sure about this year, but the first look I thought, well, does this line open at Buffalo +3? And we'll talk one last thing before I close this video out. The over/under, I believe, opened at 39 for this game. It's got pushed all the way up to 42.5. Now, what do those odds makers know that we don't know? I'm very terrible at over/unders, but if it goes up, if they keep pushing this line up, okay, there's something wrong with one of the defenses. We don't know which defense that is, My guess is that Houston's defense is not going to be as healthy as I said they were going to be, and we're looking for Buffalo to start throwing some bombs. It could get into a shootout, but the shootout favors Houston Texans. I think Deshaun Watson is a much more dangerous threat of the long bomb throw than Josh Allen. So, having said that, I'll be looking to the under myself. Look at what score I got here. Got 24-13. That's under to 42.5. So he's saying he's got a 43 offshore. Enjoy the game. And remember, entertainment only. And I hope I gave you some information to think about before you decide who the winner is going to be this game. But our pick is we're taking Houston Texans to advance, and we'll be back with a second video, talk about the second game.